Hey, we are live. Yay. All those inhabitants out there, welcome. Yay. So again, I'm going to teach about the Dharma and its effects on the planet. Basically, there's a process within humanity which is a healing. Yeah. And whether or not we're in that healing, whether or not we're cooperating with the healing, aware of the healing, that's it's questionable, But the fact is that we're in a healing, and the effect of that healing on us is the fact that we are being dispelled of glamours, that we're not the ones actively involved in it. Satan is, Satan has these glamours, and Satan wants to be the king of the world, dictator of the world, You've seen Trump, you've seen a character like that. What happens when you give them the office of the president? Well, they don't want to leave. They, even if they're elected out, they'll start a riot, and they'll kill people. They'll, say, I'll be back, and I'll do worse. You can't do anything about it because you all love me, And that's part of a ray package. That's part of a certain quality of elements that Satan has that has changed all of your health. What has affected you that creates that glamour is the fact that you're under the illusion of a king. You're under the illusion of a king. And that king expresses all 7 glamours, all of them, and expresses them in chakras that are completely the Antichrist. The Antichrist. Everything to do with Christ. It has to do with Satan. And Satan takes the rays, the chakras that is given to Christ and is given to humanity and is given from God as the likeness of God, as simply harmony, as simply co-creation. It's there. It exists in us. Except for Satan. And Satan keeps incarnating and comes as a king and comes as all these different things, and all these different people come as aspects, qualities, characteristics of glamours. So they're expressing Satan. And they want to be kings, they want to be queens, and they want to be rich, and they want to have superiority. They want to have rights that other people don't have because they are special. They have glamours. They have glamours. And it's only their glamours that makes them think like this. And they can't help it. It makes up their glamours. It's what they are. It's who they are. But what they are is the expression of Satan. The expression of Satan. And you're not the expression of Satan. You're every living thing. A bird, a cow, cat, every single thing. Feathers on a bird, flowers on a flower bed, every single flower, every single thing is correlated to God. It's connected to God, geometrically, energetically, etherically. So the makeup of our rays and the makeup of our chakras are exactly in the same way, except for Satan. Now, what would make Satan that powerful to have will over us rather than God? Because that's what it's about, Do we have God's will? Are we out of God's will? Have we done something wrong? Have we gone against God's will? Whoa, all these things that we're constantly in jeopardy of. And it's because of Satan. Not because of us. Has nothing to do with us. Has to do with the glamours. And they exist. They exist. They're elemental in force. They're elemental in nature. They make up everything around us. But they're materialistic. They're manifested by ceremonial magic. By evil. And you got to practice the glamour. You got to actually carry out the glamour. in order to carry out the evil. It's a ceremony, going against God and everything. Yeah? Being the Antichrist, you would be the opposite of Christ. Your behavior, your actions, everything about you would be the opposite of Christ. Every single thing about you would be the opposite of Christ. Now, if we think about Christ, Christ is our Magi. Christ is our Magi. Yeah? He's the king of the world, and he's the Magi. He is the Magi. Yeah? So we have to reconsider, what power does Christ have over Satan? Satan being what he is, having power over everybody. Will over everybody, will over your chakras, will over all the rays that pass through you as an expression of Satan, rather than an expression of God, rather than a manifestation of a soul. It expresses soullessness and inhumanity and vices and hate and all the glamours. That is humanity. Then we have all of our illnesses, and we have all of our wars, and everything we've got going on is an expression. The unhealthiness, the design that comes from misdirected rays that are under the will of Satan. And the problem of humanity is that humanity doesn't have the hierarchy within themselves. They're not with Christ. They don't know Christ. They don't know the hierarchy. They don't know the truth. And that there is a working hierarchy. There is Christ. There is a working hierarchy that is against Satan, and it collectively embodies the light. A light, that is what counteracts Satan, is the collective body of the light. Christ consciousness, the collective body of the light. It's all of our light, every single bit of us, but we have to put our faith in Christ. We have to do that, because that's where the light comes from. It doesn't come from us as individuals. We're being zapped, we're being cocked out, we're being lied to. We're under illusion and delusion. Our chakras are out of order because of the king of this world. Controls the elements in the rocks and in the water and in the air. All the fire, all the air, all the elements. It's controlled by the king. And the forces of the king have the forces of hate. They have the forces of prejudice. When it goes up the kingdom, it is all predators. Dog eat dog, human being, who's the strongest, who survives, and it's not real. It's not true at all. The truth is that the meek inherits the earth. That's what it says in the Bible. That's quite different than what I just said, When it comes down to Satan and all that we've got going on. The pain you have to go through, you have to suffer in order to get to this. And it's a lie. It's an illusion. It's a complete illusion. The way through this is through peace. It's by peace. It's by generating peace and harmony and quietness and fortitude. It's by shifting your chakras personally. Taking advantage of the hierarchy. Take advantage of the Christ. Be a disciple. Know that Satan exists. Know that Glamours exist. Know the Kardashians are a piece of shit. And you should be able to say that in this world. You should say, you are an evil piece of shit. Your beauty is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. You're a walking piece of shit. To honor something like that would be to honor Satan itself. All the glamours and the glory and the Hitler and all of those backgrounds of the influence of Satanism and witchcraft and uncaring heartlessness and the expression of the glamours. In order to be the expression of those glamours, to have so many of those glamours, they're lunar lords. They're Satans. Satans. Satans, It's a being. It's a group of beings. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they need to be gotten rid of. They need to be released. They need to be exorcised. They need to be redeemed. They need to repent. And there's no way through their gate. There's no way whatsoever their redemption will ever come unless they repent. They have to repent. And this is when they're going to repent. Nobody's going to leave this earth without repentance. Yeah, and they're going to come back and they're going to be hit again. And it's going to come back around and they're going to have less glamour of a world, less options to pay for Satan into the world and destroy humanity. You know, less and less and less as we keep reincarnating. More light and more hierarchy and more Christ reality is manifested. And these Satans, they got no place to go. You know? They can't turn, what we would think to be an archetype of a man into a transgender. I mean, oh, Bruce, come on. An archetype of a man. Someone who is strong and caring and look like they're understanding, not gay, not like off balance, but balanced. A winner of super athletic prowess. So many things to feel right about. So many more things he could have grown into, he could have developed, he could have been a real man. A real man. Yeah. But that's where it comes. The main thing is to get you to be the opposite of who you really are. Yeah. To find your opposite and become that. And you can't, and it is like taking the worst pill you ever imagined. And it's all from psychic influences. And he was surrounded by the Kardashians. What chance did he have to come out of that unscathed? Look at their brother. Poor guy. His entire, hormone structure is wasted. His thyroid is out. His prostate is out. Everything in him, his testosterone level is out of complete whack. Yeah. And it's mainly these chakras. It's about our chakras. Our chakras have everything to do with our glands. Whether our stomach is working right or whether or not our heart is functioning right. The biggest thing that's killing humanity is heart disease. Over anything, over cancer, over coronavirus, over car accidents, over anything. It's heart disease. And heart disease can't be prevented, people. That's really a major one that could be prevented. Learn to love. Learn to love yourself. Learn to take care of yourself in the process of loving yourself. Learn to stand up and gain strength, and rather than be weak, because being weak means you're going to have a weak heart. Being hurt and not healing means you're going to have a broken heart. Yeah? And all of those things lead to heart attack. They lead to early death. Early age, early gray hair, early everything. Stress and life situations, losing your loved one, that could knock 10, 15 years out of your life. If you don't deal with it right. If you don't know how to cope with life. Life itself will take you out. And it's unexpected, And each time you get hit like this, you're weaker in the area of cancer, in the area of your constitution, where your vitality is weakest, and where you're going to get sick, where you're going to die from something. And that because you're susceptible now, because your vitality is so weak, because your emotions have been rented, and you don't have a way to work it out. You don't have any way. You just go from one relationship to the next, or you drink it. Or you eat it, try and satisfy your emotions in some way. But we don't have a system. We don't have a family. We don't. We're alone. Yeah, and we're dying of heartache. Yeah, we're dying from that. It's the biggest thing that's killing us. Yeah, it's a freaking epidemic. Yeah, and it needs to be stopped. And it's carried out by people like Trump, who are so heartless. And they have tens of thousands of other people who are very similarly heartless, rich and wealthy and uncaring and committed to being completely selfish. Completely selfish. 100%, without question to it. You know, their nose up in the air and looking down their nose at you, you know, and, you know, everybody, you know, is being judged by these assholes, you know, who chakras are so wrong, so unhealthy, and they get that way because they use sex magic, they use money magic. And they have heartlessness in the process of raping children. And they have heartlessness in the process of stealing money from major majorities of people. And standing behind a desk and not having anything to do with it other than the fact that they're the ones who brought it about. And they reap the reward. And it gains a bigger heartlessness. Yeah? And we got Ponzi's going on left and right. We got all this going on all over the place. We catch people who are pedophiles, who have the richest people in the group, you know, and we try and do something about it. But normally we can't. Normally we can't because of these chakras. You know, these chakras have will in them, and that will is Satan. And it's a law of hate. It's a law of hate. It's based on chaos. It's based on keeping that fourth ray up at the brow. And every single one of us under the threat of the king. Yeah? The king and capitalism and their little military and their little police force. And you as a petty person who's just down there, lucky to get the scraps, lucky to get $10 an hour, lucky to have a house to live in, you know. And if you don't, you know, you live on the street. Because your $8 and $10 an hour is not going to get you a house. It's not going to get you an apartment. Yeah. So you got to work 2 jobs, and you get sick, and you start doing drugs. You know, and then you don't make your rent, and you lose your wife and your family. Yeah. All this because it's so freaking hard. And that's the race. That's the chakras. That's only because the chakras are in this position. If our chakras, if humanity's chakras were in the position of Jesus the Christ, yeah, you would reflect back and create an exorcism in the evil force that's coming at you. You would change it. You would change it. Yeah? So I created these ceremonies. I created the Dispelling the World Glamour. I created the Great Invocation. I created all these Pujas. I created Shambhala. I created the pyramid and the relationship of the Vajas and all that because they represent the rays expressed on the higher level. Even though we live in a world that's all glamours expressing the same rays, but they're all glamours. Yeah? So I take the same rays and I express every single one of them in their masterful way. Yeah? So if you look at this is what I'm doing. These 7 rays is my expression. And it comes down here. You see dot down there at the bottom is Jesus the Christ. And these are the rays that come out of Jesus the Christ. These are the rays that I work with. Yeah? And in that, I manifest what's known as Shambhala. Yeah? Where the will of the Father, where the first ray's at. And it moves through me. Yeah? And the Holy Spirit moves through me. Yeah? And love moves through me. Yeah? So all of that comes into Christ. That influence of those 7 rays come in. And they come into every geometric thing, every single thing. The music that I play, the music that I perform. Yeah? The bowls that I have in front of me, the relationships I have around me. Every single thing is interconnected to the hierarchy. Yeah? not connected to humanity. It's connected only to the hierarchy. So everything is above rather than below. Every single thing right here, every single thing is above rather than below. Yeah? Yeah. And by normal fact, we can't see shit like that. That doesn't exist because you have chakras that are unhealthy. And you can't see the working out of the plan through the mysteries, through revelation. Yeah? By having the fifth ray at the brow, and if I get it there, I'm going to get it there. I'm going to get you your fifth ray to your brow. And by me doing that, I have to eliminate the hierarchy, and that's called capitalism. Fifth ray is capitalism. The hierarchy is fifth ray and the first ray. Yeah? All focused on capitalism, focused on the king and capitalism. Yeah? And making money and creating false church and creating all kinds of fake illusions and delusions so people will put all their money into this fake church thinking that the king is a representative of God. Yeah? And all the church goes, yeah, that's who it is, that's for sure. Representative of God. And you can go to India, you can go to Asia, you can go to Egypt, you can go anywhere, and they all did the same thing. Every single one of them. Whether it be the emperor of Egypt, representative of God, that's what it's gone. Whether it be a Raj out of India, hundreds of them. They're all representatives of God. Whether it be the king of Nepal, he's an incarnation of God. You know, whoa, that's why he's king? Yes. How deluded can we get? How deluded can we get? Obviously, we're in a cult. We're in a cult. Because you talk to that person, he's no God. He has no virtues. There's nothing there. He can't heal. He has no respect toward God. He doesn't know Jesus. You know, holy moly, you know. Yeah, because it's all within the realm of the expression of the rays of Satan. It's all within the realm of the expression of the rays of Satan. That's all done by Satan having a first ray and a seventh ray, focusing on the first ray and the seventh ray, even though everything is willed, you know, to be in humanity, a focus of your fifth ray and will, your personal pride. Your personal will, ambition. I'm going to be a president. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. Thing concrete. I could see it. It's destiny. You know, that's a fifth ray, first ray. You have been cursed. Yeah, those are the two rays Satan chooses to give you from the tree of knowledge. It's knowledge, people. Knowledge, and it's knowledge coming from Satan. And if you want to know the truth of what's going to happen in the future, you have to ask Satan. And he doesn't know, but he'll lie enough to tell you he does. And squirm enough to get you to manipulate to go into the destiny that Satan is designing. Yeah. It's all manifest destiny inside of people's ego and pride. Yeah. And the outcome of everything has to do with lower psychicism. Whether or not we're actually using, are we awakening to intuition, or are we fostering lower psychic abilities to talk to the dead who lie to us, who are not really dead people but are ghosts and inhabited spirits that are conjured up, you know, by the use of witches and warlocks and others, that just like making an electric machine that allows it to record voices and then project them out and make you think voices are playing out for you, but they're not. It's psychic astral material, psychic astral projection. Yeah? And you get hit by it. You think you saw a ghost, you think you heard a voice, you think you see something, and you did. It's a poltergeist. It's coming from evil. It's spirits. And they're manifested in places and ways that they shouldn't be. And we have to close this door down. Yeah? By being ignorant and by being weak and by being told lies and under delusion and thinking that we live in a political world rather than a religious world. Think that we're either Democrats or Republicans or we're British under the Queen, you know. You know, you're crazier than shit. You're just crazier than shit. That's all you are. You know. Get straight with yourself. You're not in any of that. Not at all. You're in this world, and this is the world of Jesus the Christ. Look at the history. All history is based on Jesus the Christ. It's all based on the Avatar and the previous lives of the Avatar, and all the workings out of the plan and the mission of the Avatar. Yeah, it's all based on that. Yeah? Enoch, Methuselah, the Great Flood, and here we are again. Every single thing comes around to it. Every single thing. And it doesn't come around to Satan. Everything that the Avatar comes for is to knock the shit out of Satan and stop the lie and the corruption and the illusion and delusion. Yeah? We're in a time now of what's known as the coming of the Avatar Kalki, the 10th incarnation of the Avatar. 10th incarnation of the Avatar. It's also known as Kalki Maitreya. Yeah? So in that, the prophecy goes like this. The name Kalki Maitreya is a metaphor for eternity or time. Madhava, the name of Shiva, another name for Kalki Maitreya. The life of Kalki Maitreya, who is said to bring an end to the darkness of the Kali Yuga, destroying evil and sin and beginning a new Yuga, the age of sinlessness and peace known as the Satya Yuga. After the defeat and destruction of evil on earth, the Satya Yuga, the Golden Age, begins. And that's where we're at. Yeah? This is where we're at. Yeah? We're in the middle of the freaking hierarchy. Whether it's not on the news or CNN or anybody mentions it or books are written about it, it's the truth. And all there really is the truth. And all the lies can't cover up the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth will free itself. It just it's staying there. It can't be destroyed. Yeah? It can only become more. Yeah? Because the truth continues. The truth exists. Yeah? So here we are inside that hierarchy. Here all these people stand around me in the hierarchy. Yeah? And we see the Lord of the world, Shambhala, Father Monad. You're looking at that. Yeah? That's the Lord of the world, folks. That's the Father. That's the Monad. Yeah? And they all know it. All the hierarchy knows it. Everybody knows it. Yeah? And all of that is sitting with the 7 rays he's standing in. He's standing in. He's breathing. He's eating. He's waking up in the morning. Yeah? And he has these 7 rays. Yeah? The 7 rays. That humanity, without these 7 rays, humanity has nothing. Yeah? Humanity is originally made up of these 7 rays. Yeah? There's no such thing as humanity. All there is slaves. You're recreated in the image of Satan to be slaves who seek gold. That's the purpose of your existence, is to seek gold, to seek materials, things. Bring them out of the earth. Yeah? Whether it be oil or gold or minerals or whatever Satan wants, to make Satan gold objects and big-ass oil shit things, to make Satan rich as could be. So Muslims look like they're rich, but they're really not. They're Satans. And they're reaping on taking advantage of humanity. All of that is these chakras. Every bit of it. If you see the healthy chakra, you see the 5th ray up at the brow. Yeah? And that 5th ray in the brow means that that's the tree of life. This gives you 7 rays. 7 rays. That is your tree of life. All 7 rays is your tree of life. Yeah? In your life, you have in you have the orientation to look at something when you look at a flower, when you smell. Every sense you have is an aspect and an attribute to the rays. Yeah? So it's life. It's life. Without the rays expressing through you and you experiencing by having a response. Your response is the rays. Now if they're glamours and they're blocked and you do not have the sensitivity of those rays and you're just like only 2 or 3 rays and they're all hard rays, then your mind is frozen. Your mind is collapsed with ignorance and illusions and delusions, and you can't think beyond it, and you're just very dogmatic, you know? And you're not at all able to open the mind and be clear about change, you know, and not have it destroy you in the process of trying to change, because you have to decrystallize all of that, yeah. And when you're in the healthy side, when the fifth ray is up at your brow, there's nothing to decrystallize, nothing. It actually sponsors revelation. It sponsors your ability to see clearly all your senses, to have all your senses work, yeah. Because imagine you got this, if you had this sit in a healthy state, and they all represent your glands, yeah. They all represent the fifth ray. That's your brain, people. That's your brain, yeah. That's your brain. That's your computer. That's your memory bank. That's your logic center, yeah. That's your brain. This is Metatron, yeah. This is the working out of a plan God created, giving us 7 different rays, each one having a different characteristic of masterful ability. Masterful ability. The ability to know God, see God, understand the science of God, all the geomancy of God, the applications of space, the application of everything to do with matter. You know, not just materialism, but everything to do with matter. That's the fifth ray. Your mind is so eclectic and clear and awesome. You see it through God's eyes. That's just one sense. One sense. Rather than just seeing a flower, you know, like the guru, you know. The guru goes, you know, Kwai Ching Kane, you know, how come you can't hear the grasshopper next to your foot? Yeah, the dude's blind. You know, his master's blind, you know. And Kwai Ching King looks down at his foot and there's a grasshopper down there. And he goes, what? Wait, how'd you know there was a grasshopper by my foot? No, the question is, how did you not know? You know? And that's what it is. You know, it is the brow. It's your chakras. It's intuition. It's intuition. The world around us is full and complete. Every sense is psychic. It's psychic. It's not material. Yeah? But when we're in this situation, when we're cursed by this situation, you know, then we have a fifth ray at our base center, and we're Kwai Ching Kane with a cricket sitting next to us that we cannot hear or see or anything like that. You know? We're blinded, veiled, insensitive. Yeah? And that's normal. That's normal. Yeah? And now take all the rest of these rays. You know, that's just the brow. Imagine that brow has everything to do with your ability to communicate with everything. God, angels, yeah, recognize the devil, recognize deception, discern, discriminate, yeah, not be deceived, yeah, bring about harmony out of conflict, just by witnessing the illusion and the lie as it's happening. You untie it. You reveal it. Yeah? And the liar can't lie anymore. Yeah? The liar goes through redemption. There's an exorcism that takes place. That's what happens if you have a fifth ray at the brow. You automatically, you know, you clear it. You put a light on it. Yeah? You're building light. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the light. But without that fifth ray at the brow, you have very little light to work with. Yeah? You're completely you have to have Christ. Because Christ sees. Christ is not veiled. Christ has none of that going on. So you have to call upon your master. Yeah? And seek the reality of the enough telepathy to know that you're not standing there alone. Yeah? You got to go there. You got to think about that. Yeah, because it's important. Yeah? This is the reality of Christ is the protector, and you need to be protected. This is not a safe place. You think it's a safe place, but it's because you're under delusion. It's illusions. And if you watch the news, what makes People kill people in schools. What makes all this shit go down the way it does? You know, how does that happen? It happens because of this enormous, evil, chaotic force that's inside of humanity, inside of Trump, inside the followers of Trump. Imagine there's so many of those people honestly believe that Trump won the election and that the election was corrupt, as though almost all of the United States and your neighbors and everybody you know, you go to the movies with, people you hang out with, people you work with, they're all corrupt. Lying, evil, corrupt, drinking blood people. That's how crazy it is. That's how insane it is. And that's because the fifth ray is so there, but what's causing it is a seventh ray. A seventh ray that's pushed into the person's base center, where there's supposed to be a fourth ray. There's supposed to be this beautiful ray that allows you to talk to animals, communicate with the ocean, communicate with trees, communicate with the galaxies, communicate with everything. The whole entire earth is your ship. It is a ship. It is a communication bank. It has ways to teleport yourself from all over, just simply because you have this fourth ray at your base center. It's all the qualities of the masters and things you hear that are possible. It's because fourth ray's there, fifth ray's up here, all things are in right order. But what happens if a seventh ray is put down there? And the seventh ray is to create a satanic relationship between you and hell. Satanic relationship between you and hell. Literally, take you while you're alive in this world and drop you into hell and have you live there, called samsara. Have you lived there? Walk amongst each other, look at your neighbor, wonder why the person's stealing your car. What is going on around here? Why is this happening? Where am I? Is there a heaven? Is there a God? Where am I? Folks, you're in hell. You're in hell. And it is an invocation, evocation created by Satan. And you need to kick his ass. You need to kick his ass. You need to straighten him right out. And the way we do that is with the light. We focus on Jesus the Christ. We focus on peace. We focus on quiet. We focus on meditation. We focus on calmness. Because we want to bring that fourth ray out of our brow, which doesn't allow us to focus on calmness, doesn't allow us to focus on ability to see things straight and not get jealous or envious. All those things come from the fourth ray in the brow, because it's our only true psychic center. It's our umbilical cord. It goes directly into the earth. And with that fourth ray, we have psychicism. We have the ability to levitate. We have the ability to dematerialize. We have the ability to have power over matter. And we do, without question, if our chakras are in this particular order. It's the nature of us. It's our nature as an angel. It's our nature. We don't misuse it. We are abundant givers. We never are takers. We only give. Because of this magical reality that we're in. We're co-creators with God. We provide. We are not slaves. We do not have to work for money. We provide. But we have to have our chakras in the right order. And Satan knows if the chakras are not in the right order, guess what? You must sweat by the brow. And you must work for what you are going to get. And you must live short life. And you must suffer every day. And you must be confused and never know whether or not you know God. Oh, that's a curse. That's a curse. It's a curse of specific rays pushed into us, radiating in us, and expressing in our head. In our emotions, in our throat. When we try and say something, instead of us saying something, it doesn't come out. What comes out is elementals that are coming into us on a day-to-day basis, when we wake up in the morning, when we brush our teeth, and when we don't brush our teeth. When we do all things that are, things that we should be doing, but we don't do. All the things we don't do are elements that get into us and weakens us. Yeah? We have to be masters. To be masters, you have to be masters over elements. You have to. And it's not over time. It's not over material things. It's like, never gonna die. I'm so in charge. It's not like that. It's not in charge in any way, shape, or form like that. But it's in charge of the elements, knowing they exist, and you have to become in charge of them. Yeah. You can't allow jealousy. You can't allow enviousness. You can't allow any of those thought forms to come through, no matter what the circumstance. Can't allow it. You have to take an essence. You have to do soul therapy. You have to do these things in order to capture those elements, not allow them to foster themselves out into other people and your circumstances, making bad karma. It's definitely going to come back around, yeah? But it is the opportunity with Christ, yeah, that all these tools and everything are made manifest in order to capture those things and then work them out. That's Sangha. That's the power of the light, yeah? You can't run from it because it's only going to follow you. You can run and go to a hotel and think you're going to get away from it. No, it'll find you in the room. It'll find you as you're eating dinner. You'll see that another person sitting across from you, and they're going to say the weirdest ass shit thing to you. And it's going to bother you for a long time because it's all transmission. Elemental transmission, one to another, one thing to another, one place to another, one person to another. And you have to stop it. You have to stop it. You have to practice. You have to practice. In order to make this thing work, you have to practice. And I created all these pujas and everything in order to make the practice spontaneous. Yeah, because it's not the scary ass big deal you see on TV, where you're not going to turn into zombies, and you're not going to turn into a werewolf, and all these things they say is going to happen if you get the big satanic curse. Well, you got the curse, yeah, but it's not the way you think. It's different. It's like an illness, yeah. You need to deal with it. You need to deal with the fact that Satan is on earth. Satan is on earth. Satan is busy. Satan became president. Yeah? Satan doesn't want to not be president. Yeah? So all of us in the Christ light, we are using our brow to see him for who he is and make him make mistakes. Because that's the difference between the hierarchy and the false hierarchy. False hierarchy is liars. And they're found out for their lies, and they go to jail for it because they're liars. And they're covering up harming people. And they're not loyal to anybody but themselves, not even their family, their friends, or their company. Yeah? So they go down. They go down fast and hard. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. It's called the Satya Yuga. Yeah? Take in deep consideration over the fact that this is a time reality and that I'm a time lord. I'm the lord of time. Yeah? I'm not here as like Sai Baba the guru or some bullshit thing that you've witnessed in the past. I'm the real thing. I'm the guy who resurrects. I'm the guy, when you kill me, I come back. That is the Lord of time. And if you don't believe in me, that's your problem. But it's a fact. I've labeled it a fact on this earth. You have the Lord of time on this earth, which has conquered death, conquered Satan, conquered the curse, ended it. Yeah? And I have that light in me, gives me the teachings and gives me all the things it takes in order to put this thing right and move us into the Satya Yuga, away from the Kali Yuga, closing the door of the Kali Yuga, because I won't allow it to exist any longer. I won't support it, and I'll point it out, and it will close on its own. Because It's all spiritual. Nothing is without God. Satan is but a small speck of determined assholeship. You know? Just a piece of shit, just an asshole, just a meanie, just a bully. There's lots of them, but trust me, there are a lot fewer of them than they make it out to be. It's like gays and things like that. It's not what it is. It's an illusion, a delusion of grandeur. Yeah? It's not what it is. It makes you afraid. It makes you see it, in a way of bigness, and yet it's very small. And you need to relax. Because Christ is what's big. Christ in the hierarchy is what's big. This earth is what's big. All the light that comes from this earth is enormously big. You cannot imagine. If you think we have power in our chakras, we have human powers, it's nothing compared to this earth and its angelic presence. It's 7 chakras, 7 continents. The will aspect and the cooperation with God is so great here. Yeah? The creation of Shambhala, the creation of a place for the avatar to incarnate and live out life after life after life, creating many yugas on this planet. And you can go back and see the history of all my work on this planet as the only thing that exists in history. The only thing. And you can't make sense of it because it's too freaking old. And it's too old. And it's too consistent. This one's 1,000,000 years old, this one's 150,000 years old, and they're both the same. They both have the same tinkle, tinkle bells. They have the same Buddha sitting there in position, whether it be a 1,000,000 years old or 100,000 years old. Yeah? Because it's one God, one teacher, one truth, one period set of chakras that come with our creation. And we completely eliminate Satan at the end of the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is only based on Satan. That's the only Yuga, folks. You got it made from here on out. Skip Elon Musk. This place is not going up in flames. Skip it. And if you hear shit like that, you're hearing it 5th ray in your sacral center. You're hearing it in illusions and delusions in 7th ray that's sitting at your base center, as though it's a truth, as though it's the only way out, as though it's the smartest thing, and it's not. It comes from knowledge. And knowledge isn't true. Knowledge isn't true. Knowledge is made up. Yeah? Tree of life is true. Tree of life is telepathic, it's intuitive. It's a direct link to the seat of God, the controlling reality behind everything. Not the tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge is a doorstop holding the door open of the astral plane. It is just a piece of shit that puts you in chaos and makes you think you're smart and you get intellectual and you lose all your intuition and you build on intellect. Yeah? And rather than having intuition developing up here as a child, which you should have had by the time you were 7 years old, and your natural qualities and characteristics as a human being, you're meant to go through initiations every 7 years by your very nature. As an angel incarnated, you're meant to do that. Yeah? Just like there's sun coming out of the rays coming out of the sun. The 7 rays that come off of that, and the spectrums of all the science we have in the world. It's all set in a reality of harmonic truth. Yeah? God's truth. Yeah? So there isn't anything that isn't going to come into balance. Yeah? It's a matter of us helping to break down the door of illusion. Break it down. Yeah? And that's by holding the light and not allowing anything to come in during your day-to-day life. Yeah? Not anything. Yeah? And just stay as calm as you possibly can. And just know that when you are calm, your chakras are in a different position. You're only calm because your chakras and your rays are expressing in a natural way. And you don't have to go, crazy. You don't have to, do crazy ceremonies or anything like that. You just have to calm your mind, make the nature of your being present, because there's this work going on. There's Shambhala, you're aware of Shambhala, you know of the work, you know Christ is on earth, all that. But you got to get it in your head. The Antichrist is here too, if I'm here. And it is so much the opposite of me. And everything I have to teach is very much what you've already agreed to not being true. You agree 100% in the reality of materialism and capitalism and the great American dream. And it's not really an American dream. It is God's dream. It's God's design. It's God's way of bringing a healthy structure of chakras into the nations and heal the nations by creating democracy. Not by creating two different political agencies and have them fight over what is democracy and have it end up that the one side doesn't even like democracy. That's why they call them Republicans. And yet we don't get that. We don't figure it out. We're just not, we're not, we're not open-minded enough. We have our Constitution allows for idiots and allows for murder. It allows for, everything we're not supposed to be having going on, But we write it in because, they pass laws saying, yeah, but I want a gun. How about you? You want a gun? You want a gun? You want a gun? Everybody want a gun? Okay. They're holding a gun up to you. You do want a gun, don't you? You sure you don't want a gun? Got a gun at your kid's head? Got a gun at your wife's head? Yeah, man. I want a gun. I'll vote. After a while, you become totally Republican. You had no idea that the job that you took, by the end of that job, you're now a Republican. And the church that you join, by the end of being in that church for a long period of time, you find out now you're a Republican. Or now you're a Catholic, or now you're, but kind of find out you're being led into a process. And we're here to become disciples of Christ. Not the best mechanic in the world, or the best lawyer in the world, or the best any of those things. All those things we could do because we have these chakras. They pass through us. All these things. That's why we can have a phone and figure it out so quickly. So much can happen in our life. We can develop and quickly adapt because we have all these chakras. And because you're disciples. You're being given stuff from the tree of life, not the tree of knowledge. This is everything that's coming at you. Electric cars, you're not asking for it. That's not knowledge. You're going, what? Are you kidding? Wait, I like my car. Well, okay, there's going to be doing a water, and it's going to go up in flames. All right, I'll take an electric car. Shit. All right, I don't want to be the last asshole on earth. I'll stop smoking. That's the way it works. You're all a bunch of kids. And there's no one's really stupid. No one's anything. It's just, this is ignorance in a place where Satan is king, keeping you ignorant, making you think that if you're not born wealthy, you better freaking work your ass off for the rest of your life, and then you die. Because retirement's not real, and all those things that that you think is real, look around. It's not real. And that's all because we're in this process where we only have 3 of the rays. If you look at this health relationship, our health relationship, unhealthy-wise, we have a 7 at the bottom, a 5 at the sacral center, and a 6. Now, these are the only rays that we're working with, and they're wrong. They're wrong. The 7th at the bottom is not supposed to be there. So that's like curse number 1. And then a 5 at our sacral center. How come we can't find right relationship? How come we get born in a family of haters and enslavers and angry people who just want to sell their girls, get rid of them quickly, abuse them, have no heart whatsoever, yeah? Because they're walking around with a fifth ray in their sacral center and a seventh ray down here in their, seventh ray in their base. That means that no control over their sexual energy. It's animalistic. Normally the seventh ray would be at the sacral center. You'd have a fourth ray down at the base, and you'd have feelings. You'd harbor enormous feelings. It'd be very hard to approach and give a kiss or do something intimate or do anything like that. Very hard, yeah? Because of rights, human rights, the sense of humanity, and not a sense of pretty, yeah. Shut up. Okay, that's fun. God, that's about his fifth ray. Put that fifth ray right at your sacral center, and you make babies that way. And what are they going to come out like? I'm playing football. I'm going to play football. I'll play football, Daddy. Good. Huh? You want to be in the war? Oh, God. It's really hard to change the process when you have a fifth ray in one place and a seventh ray in another place, and they are the rays of stupidity. The rays of stupidity. If they're not in the right place, they're going to make you retarded, basically. It's like you're born to be a slave. Seventh ray, fifth ray. You're born to be a slave. Labor. Study it. If you put a seventh ray and a fifth ray together, what is that good for? Carrying logs. Making houses. Build fifth ray, little square, loggy, housey. Yeah. Keep it all corners straight. Make sure door opens perfectly. Oh, you're developing really good seventh ray, fifth ray skills. That's all you're developing, seventh ray, fifth ray skills. Yeah? And then you got a sixth ray as your solar plex. That's your entire love, emotion, mental body, is your sixth ray. So you're grabbing your woman, and most of the time you're too stupid to figure out who you're supposed to marry, so they're going to get you someone by the time you're 14. This really, ugly looking girl that's, got a family that is just right for you, and a very old man for your daughter, because this has nothing to do with love. There's no heart here. These are all hard rays with an emotional, mentally degenerate, sixth ray as your control, as to, what are we going to do with our children? Oh, let's ask for a dowry. You can get something for her. We'll ask for a dowry. Put that into our culture. How the hell did that get in the culture, Ask for dowries. It's like selling people. Yeah. We have everything that is set up in these very unhealthy rays. Every single thing. If guys are born, their penis is going to be clipped. Nobody really asks if that's what you want, But that's what you end up with. Yeah. What are we all Jewish or something? Have we are doing a bar mitzvah next week? Is there a need for it? Is it ugly? Is it tacky? Is it inhumane? I don't want to get near it. It's the same with, you go to Africa and they do the similar thing to girls. In their labia and all around their clitoris. Yeah. And that's because it's a cultural bullshit piece of shit mindset. When you screw up the fifth ray and seventh ray, you put those two together, you don't know what to do with sex. You don't know what to do with the human being. You don't know what to do with it. It's there for labor. Even having a baby, you call it labor. This is Labor Day. who's the women or the guys? You know, makes sense. Yeah, because we're all in the same scenario. This is all just fifth ray, seventh ray with the sixth ray. Yeah, and you're Democratic or Republican. I mean, we're talking really dumb shit. And we go to high school and we go to school, and they push us into football and baseball or basketball, fifth ray, seventh ray. And then they say you got to learn the math and you got to learn history and you got to learn this and that. Why? Well, because it's fifth ray, seventh ray. Because we don't know the truth. Yeah, did you know that, we didn't know the truth at all? So we're just going to write these history books and say Columbus discovered it in 1492. Don't look any further because we didn't. Fifth ray, seventh ray, you don't look any further. You don't. You just take it for what they said. You got an archaeologist, an anthropologist, and a pope. There's history right there. They're going to write it out for you, and they'll wipe away anything that doesn't fit their historical prophetic reality. Fifth ray, seventh ray. Yeah. That includes your religion, which is fifth ray, not sixth ray. It's knowledge. It's knowledge. Yeah. Oh, Mary, she gave birth to Jesus. Let's leave out the fact that he actually wasn't conceived by her. Let's kind of get around that. Let's say she did it. She has something to do with it. So let's make it an immaculate conception, and she's God. And she's creating the Son of God. And that's the Catholic Church, folks. That's the Catholic Church. That's the belief system. And where does that come from? I mean, the angels snuck in, shook her up, said, hey, yo, we're giving you a baby. It's not yours. You're not conceiving it. It'll be born on its own. And this is its name, da-da-da-da. But no, she takes full and complete credit, The church takes credit, Kid wants to leave. No, we're your parents. You can't go anywhere. 5-7. 5-7. It's the curse. And it's focused on the children. It's focused on reincarnation. It's stopping us from having self-realization behind reincarnation. Yeah. Changing those rays, putting the fifth ray here and the seventh ray there. If the fifth ray was up there, by the time you're 7 years old, you'd be transmitting out your previous life, good, bad, or indifferent, transmitting it out. And a series of processes would be coming around your way to work out that karmic event. Always in a positive way, always. Yeah. But that's because the chakras are in order. Justice does have its day. It's in the Bible. It works itself out. All things do. Reincarnation. Everything is forgotten and forgiven. And it is redeemed through life. And then we practice our caring and our sharing and our giving. And this could be someone who killed you in your last life. Very difficult to help this person. To save this person. Things inside of you don't want to do it. Your mind goes against it. People around you tell you you're stupid, you're crazy, don't do this, But you go for it. You do it. You do what you should do, And you have no idea. You just cleaned up an enormous amount of really bad stuff you might have been done to you, But life is that. It's always that. It's never what you think. It's always reincarnation. Yeah. The last incarnation is reincarnating. Yeah. Everybody reincarnates. We are on the tree of life. Yeah. It is not a solid thing. It is not this block of time is that, and it has no association to the future or no association to the present. Yeah. Everything is within the tree of life, and everything is present. Always at the same time. Always. Yeah? Unless these chakras go differently. Then we lose our intuition to know this truth. And we can't communicate. We can't communicate. We can't feel. We can't know what another person is going through. I mean, that's horrifying. To me, that's really horrifying, because that's something I really developed when I was young. So there's nobody I wouldn't help. Nobody. No matter what the circumstance, I would do it because I could feel the circumstance. And that's what everybody misses. That you can't really feel the other person's circumstance. It's blocked from your senses because the fifth ray is not up here. And to get the fifth ray up there, you need Christ. And I'm Christ. So it's easy for me to get a connection to myself. It's just like came, recapitulates, dreams, everything. So all of that is a real reality for myself and for you. We all have this same experience. We all are in the same thing. We are all affected by Satan. I'm affected, you're affected, and there's only one way out of this sucker. That's through Christ. We have to focus on the reality of spreading the light into this asshole and changing his attitude. And that's not hard to do. It's really not. All you got to do is stay right in yourself. Stay calm. Because he represents these unhealthy chakras, and he wants to keep them going. He needs it. He needs North Korea to be the way they are. He needs Russia to be the way it is. He needs China to be the way it is. He needs Arabia to be the way it is. He needs the people in America to be against each other and separate. He needs it. It's the only way he can really maintain power is through chaos. Chaos is his psychic energy. He brings it up from lower terrestrial forces. It's what happened when you put that seventh ray down at your base center, and it's supposed to be in your sacral center. That means that you are now connected to the web of life. When it's at your sacral center, you're connected to the web of life. You're connected to all your previous life relationships, people you've loved, people you don't, and you have a really intimate way of communicating. But if that's blocked, if that's gone, then it's gone, period. It's gone, So without that, we feel lost. We feel like there's a lot that we need to do to get to this point, but we really can't, but it is set in our structure. It's set in us to manifest in this way, So it changes by bringing that fifth ray up into the brow and bringing the seventh ray back down into the sacral center, down to the base. Where right now it's at the sacral center, but bringing it into the base, it happens naturally by it going back into the sacral center and the fourth ray going into the base. And that's by you taking relationship to Christ. You eliminate selfishness just by stepping outside yourself and taking relationship with an avatar who's not locked into samsara. If you take the same kind of relationship to a person or even a statue or a thing, and it's not really the truth, if you're not really resonating with that truth, you won't receive that light. They found that out back in 1951 when they did the exorcism, the movie The Exorcism. Well, it actually started with a young boy in a church, and he had the devil, deeply inside of him, and he couldn't get it out, and they didn't know what to do. So they took him to this great big church, and put him in one of the rooms, and they started doing exorcisms. And they did everything, and they did one after another, and they worked with all the saints, they worked with Jesus and everything, and they couldn't get the demon to come out and to end. And then finally, one of the priests said, well, let's try Archangel Michael. So he went and got a statue of Archangel Michael and put it right next to him, lit a candle, and they started praying and did a blessing in the water and brought the blessing from the water of Michael onto the child, and the exorcism worked, and it totally drove this demon out. And the kid was clear after that. There was no more memory of it, nothing. It was clear, So it is important that you're focusing on the right being, And the deal with here, these guys are Catholics, and they believe in Jesus the Christ. They believe in, but they don't know Jesus Christ, the Archangel. You know? And that his true power is the fact that he is in heaven as an archangel. His beingness is an archangel. We are all angels. Yeah? And how we lose our faith is our recognition of ourselves in God's eyes, you know, as angels, and how we represent opposite of what God sees in us. You know, we don't see it and we don't represent it. We're representing what Satan is expressing in the same will. Yeah? You know, so by this process, imagine through Christ, that same energy is manifested where Christ was able to overthrow the sixth ray as Jesus. And that's where everybody has their downfall. Their weakness is in the sixth ray. So when you focus on taking the guru, the Christ, as your guru, you know, and focusing on Christ, you know, then in reality you're closing the door, an astral door, yeah, that you're not aware that is available, yeah, and it has little to do with the religion of our Catholic or baptism or anything like that to Jesus. It has to do with Jesus as an angel, as the light of the world, and that the world itself is an angel in itself. You know, that everything from God is manifested angelically. It's the power of angelic force, is God's force, not material. We got to really step back and see it for what it is, so that we can receive the light of Christ and not think that, oh, it's the light of, you know, a guru and the light comes from his brow, or, you know, he has healing powers and he's like Eric Giller, you know, he's just a little higher than Eric Giller, you know. It's not like, that's not Jesus the Christ, yeah? It is an aspect of time control, an aspect of overthrowing of all the chakras that are out of balance and having them right there in balance, holding the influence of the chakras in balance. Yeah, that requires the heart. Yeah, it's the heart center that Christ focuses through, not through the lower chakras. And here we see these lower chakras where everybody's in their illness. They're unhealthy, and they have 6, 5, and 7. But when you're healthy, you have 7 chakras. 7, you know. You're not focused at all in your lower chakras at all. Not at all. Yeah? You have all 7 of these chakras flowing through you like a blessing, like grace, way beyond your wildest imagination, because it's coming from Christ, who has all these chakras, who gives all his light. And it's not like Sai Baba or some other guru who you're just going to get a little hit, a little here, a little kundalini, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know. It's nothing like that. You get the whole thing, yeah? You get forgiveness, yeah? That means that every single chakra has to be allowed to you. It has to be allowed to you, yeah? So that you can cleanse your problem. You can't cleanse them, you know, with half your chakras, you know, functioning, and they're functioning over here, but you haven't got your first ray or your fifth ray or your third ray, and your heart center is still not functioning. And you kind of got these awake and they're going up. But, I mean, if you think of this, these are all chakras that are going down, which means they're being drained like a vampire. All life force that you may have in revelation to God is gone. Any connection you may communicate with God is over with. And it's all going down here as devitalization. In other words, you're born to die. And you live a hard life, and then you die. You suffer. You go through suffering. You live a hard life, and then you die. That's an unhealthy chakra reality. Unhealthy. Because over here, no matter what hard life we live, we see it for what it really is. And we can change the karmic value inside life and change the outcome of experience to where we get a more fortunate life than misfortunate. And we accept the misfortunate as a working out of karma. And we're going to deal with it calmly and peacefully and gracefully. And we're not going to lose trust in our fellow man. And we're not going to do things that makes us turn against other people. Because those are senses that we are having up here, that we want to develop. They're from up here. Our care for another person, our ability to hear another person's needs, our ability to fulfill those needs. Those are the throat chakra. Our ability to see the truth in a person's life and what they're suffering for and how to fix it, provided everything it takes to fix it. We get that. Just by the circumstance. We get it, automatic. So there's nothing in our healthy chakras that doesn't heal our unhealthy chakras. So we're not in a position to where we should think that we've got to fix these lower chakras and get them right. They're already right. That's the main thing. And then to understand that the influence of Christ that comes into the chakras, the only thing that's coming in from Christ is the heart chakra. All the rest of the chakras are fully functioning. It's not the tree of knowledge. It's not stuck one or the other or this or that. None of that's going on. Christ is 100% heart chakra. And that heart chakra goes directly into your heart, and it's what causes everything to be raised up. Everything. Everything that's going down is because your heart has been broken. And you had Satan as your leading force, guiding you through everything and blaming you for it, in every aspect of life. But Christ comes in and forgives, forgets, redeems, and allows the entire process to change into a point of joy and happiness and peace. All right. So let's do a little puja. Yeah, sound good? Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I am a messenger of light. I am a pilgrim on the way of love. I do not walk alone, but I know myself as one with all great souls, and one with them in service. Their strength is mine. This strength I claim. My strength is theirs, and this I freely give. A soul, I walk on earth. I represent the One. The future comes. I also am the coming destiny, and therefore I am that. The present flows from out the past. The future colors that which is. I make the future also by my present knowledge of the past and the beauty of the present, and therefore I am that I am. Within the circle of the will of God I stand. Without the radius of the world of glamour I take my place, and there I stand. Before the open door that just reveals a different lighted way, I take my stand. Before the presence, I will take my place, and there will firmly stand. And stand I see. is the incentive of our aspiration on the path. Love is the substance of our living in the world. Love is the light and the light of freedom from all creatures. Love pulses through the universe in a divine rhythm. Love is the consciousness of God. May the holy ones whose disciple I am show me the light I seek. May all mankind, may all humanity of all knowledge, may all light on earth make manifest the soul in all things, all life. I invoke the radiant golden sun to manifest the thread of the soul into the kingdoms of the elementals, into the kingdoms of the vegetables, the animals, into the astral plane. I invoke all humanity to become the caretakers of the kingdom of God. I invoke the will of God as the soul. I stand before the judgment seat of my soul. I am that soul. All love and light am I. I serve the world and lose myself in service. This is my life, and this is the way that I will tread until the day be with us all. The awakening in the consciousness of humanity, the family of humanity, to bring forth points of energy within themselves, inaugurating certain new techniques in work and in modes of communication. I invoke the group of telepathic communicators. I invoke the group of trained observers. I invoke the group of magnetic healers. I invoke the group of the educators of this new age. I invoke the group of political organizers. I invoke the group of the workers in the field of religion. I invoke the group of scientific servers. I invoke the group of psychologists. I invoke the group of financiers and economists. I invoke all creative workers as the new group. I invoke the externalization of the inner existing of conditions within these groups, through the manifestation and the externalization of the avatar.
Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. So, the process humanity has with Christ has little, if anything, to do with the reverent situation of the solar plex, where people are, there are all kinds of into religion and psychicism and all kinds of things that happen in the solar plex. And because that is a religious kind of ray, then it leads one to expect that that's the way Jesus would be. You know? So Jesus is going to make 100 loaves when needed, and Jesus is going to raise the dead, and Jesus is going to be a psychic, and Jesus is going to be a healer, and Jesus is going to, you know, be very, 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 very sixth ray, as you expect. Yeah. And the Jesus incarnated during the time of Jesus was a sixth ray personality. You know? So in my sixth ray, that would be expected of me, those things. But if you study your Bible, you'd find that I had to stop all that. You know, that as I went off on my own and spent my time in meditation, I had to deal with a lot of temptation from Satan. And that temptation was that I could be given these gifts, these powers of materialization and immortal life, you know, and never die, and all this kind of things that Satan said that's what I would get if I would just go along with it. And then I would be safe. There would be no difficulty. I would not have any more problems. I could prove myself, and I could use magic, and I could use all kinds of things without fear, you know, that anything would come of that. And it was always my sense, you know, that things like that are from the desire body and not from reality, not from what I should be doing. That's not what I should be doing. Yeah. And that in a sixth ray sense, that is what is expected, and that's what is put on me at first. But at the end of that life, you know, got through the whole process to where all of that had to be ended, you know, in my life, in my way of expressing. And it had to be done, my way of expressing had to be through the heart. It couldn't be through the solar plex fulfilling people's expectations, whether it be saving a person after they're dead, or saving a person from their unhealthiness, or any kind of thing like that, to where I'm the sixth ray savior, yeah, another Messiah. And that's really not my idea of a Messiah. That's not who I am. You know, I am the Son of God. And that means that I have the love of God. And that's that. That's what I have, you know, and that allows me life. And that's what I give. I give life. and that whatever happens in the process, so I give out weavers, I give out all my tools and my blessings and everything, and I do that because it's whatever happens in the process of this blessing is what's to happen, rather than it be a six-ray thing or expected thing, or this is a science that will bring about this particular effect. None of that goes on. If you use my tools, the effect is that I bless. I bless in ways that you don't normally get. And it's because it comes from my heart. And the heart is a healing. The heart is loving. And the heart does bring peace. And the heart does all the healing. It has wisdom. It has love. It provides education. It provides understanding. Every single thing that you might have found interesting, necessary, or fulfilling in the separate rays that are expressed out of my heart. They're separate rays, but they're the manifestation of the rainbows that come from my heart, that one ray, that one loving ray. And out of that comes the compassion of 7 rays that fulfill your needs. Does that make sense? Because we're made up this way. And if there's a Satan in the world, then you need a helper. And that's what I am. Rather than the kind of Messiah you think I would be, being 6th ray and everything, being that you're 6th ray and everything. But if you look at this healthy scenario, if you see the healthy scenario, you would see me as the healthy one. And I'd be walking up to you with my heart. And that's all I am. Everything below, everything above is centered right out of my heart. And it all comes out of that. I am a rainbow bridge. I'm an archangel. Where the rays go from one up, from below, up. I'm an archangel. And that influence allows us to live in the law of love. Because it requires, the blessings of God, which creates this being, this healthy being. Now, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just telling you the truth, that this is our outcome. This is our truth, this is our outcome. This is how it looks. This is the situation. You can't change it. It's that easy. I can explain it that simple. So you need to take in consideration that what you're looking for is an answer of the separate qualities of the rays, rather than the fact that the rays come from Christ. And that you've been blessed and reborn to have chakras, where you'd be more like an animal without chakras if it wasn't for Christ. So just take that in consideration, and that Satan wants you to be in an evolutionary reality of Darwinian situation. You're a monkey, and your only value in life is to dig up gold and provide it to the king. So stop it. Stop it. Okay, everybody? Enjoy your life.